lo qual facciammo per amor. A lui fossi io di penna,
Hello and welcome everybody to our first cast in Alchemy League Season 6. We've got a brand new season of the league here. We have a record-breaking number of signups. Fingers crossed that they all respect the league system and that this isn't just an artifact of, with a bunch of new people, I'm really hoping that they'll assimilate to the alchemy culture, that they'll value the sets and such, and they'll start coming in. It'll increase competition in the league. So a lot of new people could be good for the league. New people have to learn how our system works, but it's exciting. Kind of growing pains, if you will. It's a good problem to have, having to teach new people how our league works. So I've got up on my screen the list of participants for this season of the league. As always, we have everything from 1,000 ELO to 2.3K. We have 42 signups this season, as opposed to the 28 that we had last season. And so although the range hasn't really changed, the number of players in between has, which is a good thing for us. Still a big group of people up at 2K, but that's all right. We'll have more people find us throughout all ELOs. And I like having a lot of people at 2K as well, because the more people we have at 2K, the more challenge we can bring for our players, right? These are really good players up here. So the average ELO of the community playing in this league hasn't really changed. It's upper 1600s. It's like 1670 or something like that. So overall, it's a pretty competitive experience. So we have two sets as always. They're Play L2 and Alchemy League. It's a round robin. Custom maps. No centralized theme for this season of the league. So the slideshow that you see, basically, I gave Grok commands describing the different map locations, and Grok came up with some real-life images. So I guess you get bonus points if you can tell me which map the image corresponds to. And some maps might be a little bit easier than others, but once you get to know all of the maps, I think that you basically be able to figure it out. So today we have Jasuki versus Nutty in the first set. So here's Nutty, and here's Jasuki. Nutty, I believe, is a Norwegian player. He is new to this season of the league. He's around 1,000 ELO. And Jasuki is new to this season of the league as well. He is also a map maker, and he's just shy of 1.1K. So we get the first set that we're going to see today is played at 1,000 ELO. And then the second set that we're going to witness is Superhero versus Mike Goodeye. So here's Mike Goodeye. He is new to our league as well. Superhero 55 is not new to our league. Superhero goes anywhere from 14 or 1500. Mike Goodeye is new. We don't exactly know where he is. He did not meet the minimum number of games required, but he still wanted to play. So he's going to play without prize, and we'll see, without prize eligibility. And we'll see how he does. Whether or not, I think he's a little bit underseeded here. I think he's probably closer to mid to upper 1300s. But we'll see. We've got a whole league to gauge his performance and determine if our matchmaking algorithm did right by him. Well, did wrong by him, or did right by all of his opponents. Okay, so now that we've kind of shown you the players who are going to be playing today, let's take a look at the Civilization draft for Jasuki and Nutty. The reason that we're not looking at a map draft for Jasuki and Nutty is because this is their round wild. So these guys are playing in sort of that round where not everybody quite fits, and so the compensation for that is they get to pick a home map instead. So these guys are not necessarily going to be playing on the map of the round. They're just going to be playing on two maps that they want to play on. That's the disadvantage, or that's what we give them in exchange, because I believe Jasuki has two sets to play during this round wild, and then his other round one. So just a civ draft for these guys. We can see that the global ban for the admins randomly banning Persians, Turks, Japanese, Bulgarians, and Cumans. And then they each globally banned 2 civs, including Chinese, Georgians, Magyars, and Spanish. And then they had 2 picks, a snipe, or maybe 3 picks and a snipe, and then 1 final pick. So Jasuki is different from Jasuni. Jasuki has the Huns, the Koreans, and the Khmer at his disposal, and Nutty has the Romans, the Lithuanians, and the Italians at his disposal. So let's get into the games. And we'll go back and we'll look at the drafts when we go to do the second set. So the first map is Lagoon Forest. Lagoon Forest was made by a friend of mine, Zetnus. We'll zoom into the game here so that you can see, because you guys don't come here just to see me talk. So Lagoon Forest, what is it? Well, it's basically like Black Forest. I think it's a little bit more fair. It's got all these passageways in between the players. Hey, Cookie Pirate, welcome. It's got these trees, these thick layers of mangroves. I'm curious to see how it turns out. There's not really any elevation on this one except for the mounds that the players start on. And then these passageways, I believe, are created using connection generation. I'm actually, you know what? It could be the opposite. It could be that there are connections, but there are these beach connections. Actually, I bet that these deep areas with the fish, these are created with individual land statements scattered across the map, and the base terrain of the map is probably actually grass. And then there are occasional connections here between different player lands, or different neutral lands, actually. So let's take a look at the players here. So Jasuki is in the red. He is playing as the Khmer. And Nutty is yellow, and he is playing as the Romans. So I think it's a pretty standard start in terms of resources. Nutty has chosen to build a very forward lumber camp. Now, you might say, go easy on Nutty, he doesn't know where his opponent is. But, you know, when you've got a map that's like this, and you know that you're over here because you can see on the mini-map, you got to have an idea that your opponent is somewhere over here. But Nutty has decided to build a forward lumber camp, so I'm not really sure what that's all about. Maybe this is because Nutty intends to play this map aggressively, and he's not worried about his lumber camp getting tower rushed. But I think that tower rush is definitely a possibility. Somebody could build a tower here, or somebody could build a tower here. Now, it's true that if they built a tower on this side of the mangrove forest patch, if they built one over here, it wouldn't be able to range it yet. But maybe the way that Nutty is looking at this is he wants to play aggressively. He's going to be very vigilant about the towers. He's going to wall this off. And maybe Nutty wants to chop through here so that he can dock this. And then, I mean, there's some fish, but maybe the Nutty's primary motivation is he wants Roman dramans. He wants those warships, and he wants to sail up and see where he can get to harass his opponent. Indeed, if these trees were not here, a ship like a Droman would be pretty overpowered, because it could pretty much go anywhere and be a massive nuisance. So that could be what Nutty is thinking. So some of you might see this forward lumber camp and think this is a bad idea, but I think Nutty has a plan. Or maybe he's just a little bit nutty. I don't know. Cookie Pirate says, I really like the theme of this map, although one minor drawback is that it does look a bit blocky. Yeah, I think it's somewhat challenging to get these lands to grow right or grow properly. I don't know what Zetnus could have done. Maybe he could have made the lands that make these islands a little bit smaller, and then given them a certain amount of land growth to make them feel a little bit more circular. But that is an interesting observation. I think it's okay. I mean, there are some places where it looks very, very blocky, like right here. But I don't think it looks too bad. I think it looks all right. There's a little bit of fish right here. Somebody could almost dock this. I'm wondering if the players if they each get one dolphin or something like that. Yeah, it looks like there's a couple dolphins here. So I think the dolphins are just neutral resources. They're pretty far away from the town center. Could be dangerous to take them. So it looks like Nutty is going for the 8 on berries build order. The Romans have faster working villagers in the, well, in every age, really. Let's see if we can click on this and it'll tell us some more information. So Jasuki's actually at 20 villagers now. Nutty is on his way up to the feudal age. Let's see if Jasuki is going to go up to the feudal age anytime soon. So Jasuki is not going up yet. Let's see what Jasuki's knowledge of the map is. So Jasuki actually has not found his opponent. Well, what's he doing? Oh, he's greedily pushing in deer. I think that that's a mistake. But I think Jasuki desires the fast castle. Okay. That deer lure looked pretty TechChariot style. And yeah, he's going on to gold now, and he has the food to click up, but he has not clicked up yet. Now remember, guys, that Jasuki is the Khmer. So the Khmer can advance to the next age without any prerequisite buildings. So he's on 24 pop, and he's got feudal age queued up, and then he has 2 villagers queued up after that. And he has the wood to build his market and blacksmith. So I think that Jasuki is going to attempt a fast castle here, although he's nowhere near the food that he needs to click up. And he's got this last deer that he can push in. I don't know. I don't see it happening. So Nutty is in the feudal age already. And he's sending this militia out. He's got another militia coming as well. And let's see. Is he getting... Nope, he's not getting man-at-arms at all. He's got his scout here, though. So he's got a scout and 2 militia. And maybe the goal is for him to harass Jasuki and do a fast castle of his own. But I don't think so. I don't really see man-at-arms for Nutty. Maybe he will get it. We got a villager. We got a fight here as one of Jasuki's villagers goes down. But Nutty is extremely surrounded and extremely outnumbered, so he really should not fight this. But he wants this weak villager. He's queued it to attack. Is Jasuki going to lose another villager? No, he does not. He manages to fight it off. So Nutty has killed a villager. He's created some villager disruption. He has lost 2 militia and a scout, though. And so now he's building an archery range, and he's going to wall up. So I think that's pretty smart, right? He doesn't know exactly what his opponent has. Let's take a look at Nutty's... Yeah, Nutty has not scouted this over here, and he hasn't scouted this over here. So for all that Nutty knows, Jasuki could have like 2 ranges or something, or a stable. He has no idea. So he wants to make sure that he seals this off. And he's also built an archery range to kind of partially wall off this too. I really think that this map is a lot easier to be walled than what they have here. But they haven't really invested much time or effort into walling, even though it's easy on this map. I think that's kind of a mistake from both of them. But we'll see. So let's see what Jasuki is up to. Jasuki has thrown down a ring of Khmer farms, and he's continuing to spit out some villagers until he can click up to the next stage, and he clicks now. So he doesn't have a market, doesn't need it, doesn't have a blacksmith, doesn't need that. He's just going up to castle age now. So what is Jasuki going to do with his castle age? Well, what is Nutty going to do with his feudal age? So Nutty built this stone gate here, and he has an archery range, and I think he might have some units in that archery range, but I'm not exactly sure if he's planning on it. Roman archers are kind of a weird choice. The tech tree of Romans is such that they're really pushing you in the direction of siege weapons and not archers. Let's see what kind of upgrades Roman archers get, but I don't think it's that impressive. Yeah, they don't get the arbalists. They don't get hand cannoneers. Of course, they have fantastic infantry. They get both legionaries and halberdiers, but they do not get eagle warriors. They get cavaliers, but they have excellent siege except for siege elephants. They don't get siege elephants, or bombard cannons, or siege onagers. Actually, that would be kind of interesting if Romans got elephants. I mean, they did have colonies in Africa after they conquered Carthage. So they have the droma, and maybe that's what Nutty wants. So Overall, they're pretty much an infantry and siege. Oops. Come on. There we go. They're pretty much an infantry and siege civilization. So Nutty has made the decision to stonewall. He's got a house here. Stone walls are actually stronger than the houses. These houses represent a weak point in his wall. But they're also easier to wall behind. But I would still build the stone wall behind it once I got these walls up. And he could probably wall this off here too. Or maybe he could wall this way, but there isn't as much land to be taken if he walls that way. Alright, so here comes Nutty. Looks like Jasuke has built a stable. And Jasuke is going to be Castle Age soon if he's not already. Yeah, he's just about to hit Castle Age. So Nutty will see this. And he's going to pull back. Doesn't want knights ambushing this army, which is smart. So Jasuke getting bloodlines first. He's built himself a stable. So he could get some armor upgrades for the knights as well. And he is staying on one town center, so he has not added any town centers yet. So Nutty has pulled his troops back. And, oh, maybe he's not pulling it back because of Castle Age. Maybe he's just pulling it back because he thinks he can get through this way, which is actually correct. Sometimes all you got to do is just right-click and see which way your units automatically path. They have some mysterious knowledge about the map layout that you don't, which is kind of funny. But it's Age of Empires logic. Alright, so yeah, maybe Nutty isn't that worried about knights. He's got a couple of spearmen here. So here's an opportunity for Nutty to kill another villager. And doink, there it goes. So he manages to kill another villager with his small army here. He had one spearman and one archer there. Staying away from the town center, though. Maybe Nutty can get some damage in. Let's take a look at this knight. This knight, I don't think one knight could take these units, but two knights could. So now that Jasuke has two knights, he could send them out. But Nutty ultimately pulling his army back. Maybe he feels uncomfortable. Maybe he feels like the knights are going to be here at any moment, and he doesn't want to face them. So I think Nutty needs to pull his units back a little bit further. Jasuke's going to get here and see that there's no army and try to find it. Now, the vision on knights is quite horrible, but he does manage to get a glimpse. And then he tasks the knights to fight this, and these two knights should be able to clear everything up here. And Nutty losing his army. But luckily for Nutty, Jasuke did lose one knight. But still, it was good resource exchange for Jasuke. Alright, Jasuke has added another town center back here, and he's continuing to add villagers. Jasuke's villager count is 31, and Nutty actually has 37. Nutty is Nutty going up to the Castle Age? He is. So Nutty will be Castle Age in just a few seconds here. And he sees some knights, so he's going to throw down a couple of barracks. Now, luckily for Nutty, he has managed to wall this off, and he's actually completely walled. So Jasuke cannot get in here and hurt him. And I think that's what makes this map comfortable. You know, it's a little bit more passive, right? It's a map that's pretty straightforward and easy to wall, but you know, sometimes players like that. Players like a safe map. You know, they don't like having to play all these really super open maps all the time, because it's very stressful. This map lets you chill, lets you relax a little bit, get your bearings, and think about what you want to do. So Nutty has 3 barracks here, and that's really quite a commitment. So I'm wondering if we're going to see Nutty go for like a mass pike and ram push. I don't really know that he has the eco for it. I think that this second town center is a mistake. If he's going to go 3 barracks, he's going to need a siege workshop so that he can actually do damage to buildings. And that means that he's not going to be able to afford a second town center or villager production from a second town center. But he's added it anyway, so maybe these barracks are to help him pump out a lot of spearmen really quickly in case he's confronted with lots of knights. And it's just a defensive maneuver. And he doesn't really plan to attack. Maybe that's what he's thinking. it's impossible really to know exactly what the players are thinking unless you say something like maybe it's this, and then a few seconds later you actually see them do something exactly like your prediction. But outside of that, it's pretty hard. Now you guys might be wondering, what is this? Well, we got some oysters here. They are part of the map. They are a feature. Oysters were added in a recent DLC. They are basically a gold resource on water, and because we are playing with the antiquity mode enabled, fishing ships can gather from oysters. So fishing ships can actually collect this gold. Okay, here we go. So we got a siege workshop from Nutty, and it's a pretty defensive siege workshop, and I think he might just be a little paranoid. He probably thinks that Jasuki is out to get him, but I think that Jasuki is more so interested in just building up his economy. Jasuki has only 2 town centers, but he has a dock. And he has a couple of fishing ships collecting oysters as we speak. As I speak, and as you watch. Let's see. Yeah, 15 gold maximum capacity for these oystering ships. Which is what fishing ships turn into when you right-click them on oysters. So I think that there's kind of an opportunity for Jasuki to boom a little bit harder, really. I mean, I'm not a big fan of booming, but if you must boom, why not boom on 3 or 4 town centers now? Could just, you know, he's not really interested in attacking, we can see. So why not just add? Okay, there it is. He is going to add another town center here. I think that's the right thing to do if he's playing passively. Meanwhile, Nutty taking some stone. Maybe Nutty is planning on castle dropping, and he wants these pikemen to help him get a good position to drop the castle. He could drop a castle right here. Like, he could drop a castle on this gold and on these 2 town centers. All he has to do is walk out of this gate and walk along this channel and walk over here and come right here and drop the castle. And bring the pikemen, of course, because Jasuki has some knights on the prowl. There's just 2 of them, but they are there. Cookie Pirate says the game left out lime juice, Tabasco sauce, and saltine crackers for antiquity mode. I agree. That would be some good stuff. Some good eats, I should say. So, Nutty... Alright, he's going to expand his lumber camping options. And he is not taking lumber here anymore, and he hasn't refreshed this lumber camp. So I'm wondering if we're going to see Nutty build a dock over here and do something with this. A Dromon could actually reach this town center, which would be a good win for Nutty. It'd pretty much be a free town center that he could just destroy. But he probably doesn't know about it. Let's check and see if Nutty knows of the town center. Nope, he doesn't. It's been a long time since Nutty's been over here. He did his 1 attack. He has no idea what his opponent is doing. Which I think Nutty should just, you know, it's really cheap. It's just a pikeman. Just send the pikeman around. Just see what the pikeman can see. See what the pikeman picks up. Oh, interesting. So Jasuki's actually kind of taking this more aggressive approach of walling off entire sections of the map. So by building this wall here, Jasuki has pretty much claimed this entire portion of the map. So all he's got to do is wall this off, and then maybe wall this off, and he's got half of the map locked down. Oh, what's this? What's Nutty? Alright, Nutty's making some scorpions. See, it looks like he feels like he's going to be attacked, but Jasuki is not interested in attacking him right now. Jasuki just wants to build up his economy. So Nutty, let's see how many villagers he has. Nutty has 71 villagers, and Jasuki has 79. Hey, Huhuy Coyote 22 is here. I would like to see this map in a game with 6 to 8 players. Free for all, 3v3 or 4v4. In 1v1 and 2v2, I think the map is a bit predictable in terms of strategies because it is so easy to wall and boom. I agree. I think that this map could introduce a lot of interesting possibilities in team games. In 1v1, it is more like Black Forest. Maybe there could be some kind of random feature in 1v1s. Maybe a randomness to the amount of wood that's contained in these mangrove trees, for instance. And then you don't know how quickly you can chop through the forests to be able to build docks. Or maybe there could be some random feature that determines, well, this might be too much. Maybe there could be a random feature that determines whether or not you can even wall to the edge of these forests. If you couldn't wall to the edge of these forests, it would actually be an extremely open map. Alright, and Jasuke investing in a wall here as well. And all he's got to do is wall this off, and he'll have his half of the map walled. He's also on his way up to the Imperial Age with 88 villagers. Now let's see what Nutty is doing. Nutty is still Castle Age. Nutty's at 86 villagers himself. He could get this relic here, but it looks like Jasuke's going to get it first. Guys, remember that Alchemy League is played in standard victory conditions. So you can win by collecting all of the relics on a map and holding them for a specified period of time. And Jasuke has snagged this relic. So Nutty needs to be careful that Jasuke does not get all of the relics. Otherwise, there will be a countdown and Nutty will be on a timer to deny the relic victory. So Nutty's been making some scorpions, but I think he's been doing it for an attack that hasn't come. So Nutty has all of this non-value added military that's just kind of standing around. And it would have been helpful if Nutty had been attacked, but he's not being attacked. So he doesn't really have to invest resources in these military right now. He can invest it in walling up and booming, or better yet, he could use that military to attack Jasuke and gain some value out of it and do damage to his opponent. So this is just some feedback that I have for Nutty watching the game. Usually I'm not in the position to give feedback because the players in Alchemy League, given that their average elo is 1667, they're generally much better than I am, so I'm not really qualified to advise them. But in this case, I think it could be some pretty sound advice. Oh, look at that. I've got the FTL background going. Well, that's kind of weird. Let me get rid of that. Sorry, guys. I forgot to remove this space music. Here we go. Alright, just first cast of the season jitters. Why didn't you guys tell me I had space music going in the background? That's not appropriate for this season of the league because this is not a space map. Alright, so Nutty coming around, and he's going to build an outpost here to keep an eye on Jasuke and see what Jasuke is doing. Jasuke actually did not wall this off. Jasuke probably falsely assuming that this was walled off already. No, Jasuke knows about it. He knows about this, so I don't know why Jasuke hasn't walled that. He also is going to see Nutty fighting a Jaguar here. And, of course, the vision of the gate is going to see this outpost go up. Now, what is Nutty going to see? Okay, he's got an outpost here, he's got an outpost here. So allow him to keep an eye on his opponent's expansion. But he doesn't really know what his opponent's doing. So Jasuke is going Cavaliers. And he's got something in this castle as well. Let's see if we can identify it. He has... Okay, he's got conscription coming. Does anybody know the hotkey that I can click to make their researching and their production show up here? If anybody knows, let me know. Ooh, ballista elephants. So I think I understand why Jasuke picked this map now. The ballista elephants have an ability to cut through trees. So Jasuke can use these ballista elephants to cut through these trees and just enter Nutty's base. And then the walling becomes practically useless. Jasuke going to drop a castle here to secure this area of the map. And he's going to destroy the outpost so that Nutty cannot continue to spy on him. Now here comes the monk. He's going to get the last relic, I think. Let's see how many relics Jasuke has currently. He's got 3 relics. Oh no, there's one more right here. So this map has 5 relics, which is standard. Okay, so Nutty is Imperial Age. The good news for Nutty is that even though he's kind of he's been a little bit slower to get up, and he probably hasn't claimed map as much as he should. Jasuke's really the one that's been more aggressive at staking claims to the map by building castles and gates and such around the map. The good news for Nutty is that his army counters Jasuke's army. All he needs are a couple of monks to convert the ballista elephants, and I think he's in pretty good shape. Actually, these scorpions are doing pretty terribly against the ballista elephants. Maybe he just needs some upgrades. These halberdiers are trying to get close. But these halberdiers can die very quickly to ballista elephants if they're too bunched up. Alright, looks like Nutty's deciding to take the fight here. I think it's actually a good fight for him. Kills a lot of gold units for essentially no gold at all. And so the grind begins. He's going to prioritize the trebuchet to keep his castle awake and alive. And he's managed to destroy this town center here, probably with these trebuchets. And he's got a couple of halbs in the base, Jasuke's base, raiding. But I think that Nutty really needs to get Heavy Scorpion. Now let's see where he's at. He has the resources to get Heavy Scorpion if he bought some wood, or he canceled some units that require wood. He's got a ton of gold and food, so there's not really a reason why. I really think Nutty has a big civ advantage here, but he's just got to spend his resources better, because these scorpions versus the ballista elephants, maybe it could work if they had the right upgrades. They had enough of a meat shield in front of them. Nutty going in this way, which I don't really know that this is a good path. I think this is a big problem here for Nutty, and he doesn't really have much behind this. He's got enough for two. He's got enough almost for 2 castles. Actually, he has enough for 2 castles back here and here, and that could be really helpful to him. But he's sending Halbin this way, which doesn't really make much sense to me, because I feel like there's not much damage to be done. But I guess maybe with the trebuchets he can pressure buildings, and he's got these halbs working on the ballista elephants. But this massive ballista elephants here is a big problem for Nutty. Good news is they seem to be going back to deal with Nutty's counterattack. So the ballista elephants could very easily just roll right in here and just stand right here in his wood line and kill a bunch of villagers. But instead, Jasuke is going to go and deal with this. Even though there isn't really enough military here, but Jasuke will deal with this. He's got enough ballista elephants to deal with it. But Nutty will get the damage in, which is good for Nutty. Okay, he's going to withdraw with his trebuchets. Trebuchets are expensive, so he's going to get out of here. And he's continuing to make halberdier. And he's going to make a few more halberdier. Oh, I totally missed this. Nutty has a sneak siege workshop in Jasuke's base with rams, and he's being a pain on this side. Well, that's a pretty smart play. And for whatever reason, Jasuke never dealt with this. He's just letting these rams do their thing. And as capped rams, they'll get splash damage. So it'll do a lot more damage to this house, and it'll also damage adjacent buildings if they're close enough. So that can be pretty annoying for Jasuke to deal with. Jasuke will have to sprawl across the map and keep building houses. Yeah, Nutty gonna destroy all of these buildings here because Jasuke's just not dealing with it. So ballista elephants pushing back Nutty. Nutty really, he needs more than just Halb and Scorpion. He needs an answer to these ballista elephants, and he doesn't have it. He's just like, well, I can't make enough scorpion. Maybe heavy scorpions, it would be different if he had a big group of them, at equal numbers essentially. But just no answer to the ballista elephants And he's going to lose his position here. He's building more barracks as though having more of these halberdiers to get mowed down is going to do anything. But he's kind of stuck. Good news is he's done a lot of damage to Jasuke's base. Now, can he sneak in here and destroy this monastery before the relic countdown completes? I don't think so. I don't think that he will. I think that these Cavalier will come in and clean this up. Let's see if Jasuke's housing development being destroyed. It does. He is going to have to rebuild some houses, so at least there's that for Nutty. Those two houses go down, so he almost housed his opponent. But this right here, you know, this is just not going to work for Nutty. He needs something. Actually, Nutty managing to overwhelm these ballista elephants, which surprises me. I guess Jasuke wasn't paying attention, or Jasuke was busy fighting somewhere else, and Nutty managed to kill those ballista elephants. So now Nutty has the advantage. He's coming back with some more halberdiers. Halberdiers everywhere. Now, for Romans, I believe that their infantry get double the effect from blacksmith upgrades, but they don't get the final armor upgrade. So it's easier to give their infantry full upgrades, full Imperial Age upgrades in Castle Age in a way that other civilizations don't have. But I think that they ultimately do fall behind later on in some respects. Alright, so this siege ram is... it's got some units in it. Here it comes. It's going to knock on the door of Jasuke's castle. And maybe Nutty's plan... What is Nutty's plan now? Let's see what Nutty is researching, if anything. He's researching siege ram, which is a good choice. He never researched heavy scorpion. Maybe Nutty's looking at this like... I'm going to use the rams to get close to the ballista elephants, and then when I'm close enough, I'm going to eject my halberdiers, and I'm going to kill the ballista elephants that way. So the rams, having a lot of pierce armor, will be able to tank the ballista elephant damage until I can get close, and then pop out and stab the elephant with the pointy poles. Maybe that's what he's thinking. It's a good strategy. You know, against some civilizations, that strategy is pretty unstoppable. You think about civilizations like the Berbers or the Huns. You know, if you've got a halberdier and siege ram push, those civilizations, the cavalry archer type civilizations, really struggle to deal with it. Now, I don't think that the Khmer are a cavalry archer civilization. I think that they're pretty close. They're kind of weird in their own way. Actually, you know what? They really are a cavalry archer civilization when you think about it. Like, what do the Khmer love to make? They love to make hussar, and they love to make ballista elephants. Ballista elephants are a form of cavalry archer. Hussar are a form of meat for cavalry archers. The kind of gold-free unit that dies for cavalry archers, so that cavalry archers can deal their damage output. So, actually, yeah, I retract that statement. I think that Khmer are a cavalry archer civilization in the same way that Berbers and Huns are. The reason I didn't include Mongols with that is because the Mongol Mangudai are kind of a unique case. The Mangudai actually deal bonus damage to rams. So Mangudai actually do just chew through rams. And Nutty's somehow managing to get through here. And Jasuke not intercepting it. So we've got this ram train. We've got 5 rams charging in, looking for some damage. I think that these castles would be a good place to do damage, but he ejects the halberdiers. They come out, they kill the hussars, and now what's the plan? To get back into the rams? Because the hussars were doing damage to the rams. Rams have... Oh, alright, I see. He's gotta stop the relic victory. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. There's only 20 years left. And he's just barely gonna fail to stop the relic victory, I think. Maybe he does stop it. Oh my goodness. Look at that. The monastery was down to 1/4 HP. And Nutty calls the GG. He's not able to destroy the monastery. So Nutty's critical mistake. He has the civ advantage. And, you know, I think that Jasuke was running out of gold. We'll take a look at Jasuke's gold supply. Let's see how it is. Yeah, Jasuke has nothing on gold. Because Khmer are a very gold-hungry civilization. Jasuke says it wasn't my plan. Yeah, exactly. It's just how it worked. Not a lot of gold on this map, we're finding. A lot of it's in these neutral oysters here. And, you know, maybe you gotta take the oysters in order to get some good gold income. And Nutty coming back for another pass, but not enough time, and the relic victory condition is satisfied. So Jasuke taking the first game with a relic victory, which is really not what I was expecting. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised from this game. I was not expecting an outcome like that. I was expecting somebody to just like go mass ballista elephants, and by somebody I mean Jasuke, and just like wipe out his opponent. But it didn't work out that way. You know, Nutty took him a little bit of time, but Nutty got into the siege rams, which was a really good play, and that allowed his halberdiers to get close to these ballista elephants and finish them off. Jasuke never got elite ballista elephant, which is unfortunate. But Jasuke also ran out of gold, and so Nutty really had an advantage there because he was able to use his gold more efficiently than Jasuke. But Jasuke got all of the relics, which I think, incidentally enough, kept him afloat with gold for a while. Let's take a look at the achievements. So Jasuke with 375 kills, 159 deaths. Makes sense, considering he was mowing through halberdiers. Nutty with more food and wood collected. Jasuke with way more gold collected and some more stone collected. Jasuke with better castle and Imperial Age times. Yeah, that actually is really good for a first game of the league, to open the league off with something like that. Jasuke with capture of 5 relics, 4 castles, and he had 3,000 relic gold. So it definitely helped him out a lot. Let's take a look at their second game now. The second game is on The Thaw. The Thaw is actually a map by Jasuke. He made this map. And we've got these, kind of these glacier areas, if you will. There's like an area around your town center in this frozen forest, which is thawed. So you've got your dry road, you've got a few straggler trees, got a couple boars. Everybody has, it looks like 8 ponds, each with 1 shorefish in them. And then there are some cold ponds outside of that, and some cold forest otherwise. So, a pretty aggressive map, I think, considering that you only have 2 forests and that your resources are scant and outside of those forests. So, it's almost more aggressive than Denali. And Denali was pretty aggressive. Yeah, good luck when I have Jasuni and Jasuke playing each other. That will be quite the tongue twister. Alright, so let's talk about the civilizations. Jasuke with the Huns and Nutty with the Lithuanians. So they both have cavalry civilizations. I think Huns could be very good on this map. It's an open map. Huns are aggressive. They love open maps. Let's take a look at the Fog of War. Alright, so Jasuke has not found his opponent yet. Well, let's see what Nutty knows about the map. They're both exploring their own bases yet. They're like, what? This is it? These are all the resources I get? Well, actually, Nutty's probably the one thinking that. I don't think Jasuke is thinking about that. Jasuke knows how many resources he gets because he gave himself those resources. He designed the map. He designed it to our specifications. And now they're playing it. So we got 2 on wood. We'll keep an eye on the number of villagers tasked to collect wood. We see that we have 4 on wood from Nutty, so I'm actually not thinking that Nutty is going to go scouts here. I would be surprised if he went scouts, considering that he has 4 on wood. Maybe it's a fast castle. Maybe he's going to use... Oh, Boar is not getting angry enough, so I like how he goes up on top of the hill to shoot it, so that the boar will deal less damage, perhaps going downhill. I'm actually not sure why he did that, because it seemed like he could be out of there in time. Oh well. So, Jasuki with only 2 villagers on wood here, and this is somewhat disturbing if you're Nutty. Now, Nutty hasn't scouted this, so he's not gonna know. But we know from watching that when somebody only has 2 villagers on wood like this on a very open and aggressive map, this is evidence of a lightning scouts build. Like, this is telling me that somebody is planning on making scouts very, very early. Let's take a look at Jasuki's resources to see when he's clicking up, but I think it's going to be very soon. Yeah, so he's got 364 food, he's got 2 on wood, and he's doing a special build to get in the last of the food that he needs. Okay, so he's got 1 more villager coming out, and then while Loom is researching, he's going to get the food to click up. So this is an 18-pop scouts build, which is very, very aggressive. 18 pop including Loom, so maybe almost 19 pop scouts. But still, very, very aggressive. No, lady. Alright, he saved it. That's good. She almost went off and took some initiative and killed that sheep herself. So now, he really needs to send a lot over to wood. He needs to send a lot of villagers over to wood, because he's going to need the wood to build a barracks right now. And then he's going to need to be able to build a stable, too. So Jasuki needs a lot more on wood than what he's sending, I think. But Nutty is just coming over here now. So Nutty has an idea that his opponent is over here, because he knows that this is what his opponent's lands look like. But he's not... I think that Nutty really should be more aggressive in scouting around and finding his opponent's resources and seeing what buildings there are and such. Okay, so Jasuki is managing to build the barracks now, and I think he has enough time to get the remaining resources. Huns do not require houses, so he's been able to save on wood from not having to build houses. So he's not going to have to build a house. He's automatically can build all the way up to 200, and he's just about to get feudal age here, and maybe force drop off some wood. And now he can build a stable. And yep, there's the stable. So this is a Lightning Scouts build. What is Nutty doing? Let's see. Let's go over to Nutty's point of view. So Nutty is going up on 22 pop, which is a lot more respectable. And actually, he's going archers. He's building a barracks now. At least I think he's going archers. Surely if he were going man-at-arms, he would have the militia already. So I'm pretty sure this is an archers build, a defensive archers, maybe an archery range and then a blacksmith. And he just wants to stay alive. And he has to build houses, unlike Jasuki. So double bit axe for Nutty. A sensible economic upgrade. He's in feudal age. And he's going to want to build spearmen, too. Nutty, let's see what Nutty knows, actually. Has Nutty scouted the stable? He has not. Nutty has not scouted the stable. That is a disaster. So, since Nutty has not scouted the stable, he doesn't know that there are scouts on the way. So, this could be a pretty quick game. Nutty rushing up a tower and not going to get it up in time to save some villagers, and 1 villager goes down, and actually that's 2 villagers down. Okay, because this tower is now full, and now Jasuki probably all he has to do is just attack the base of this tower. But Nutty actually has a spearman, so Jasuki can't linger, so he leaves, and he's gonna go look for damage somewhere else. Now, if you're Nutty, you're like, oh, Alright, better get out of here. He's throwing down some houses to help keep his villagers safe. I would just build some palisades here. I don't think he needs that many, but alright, that's fine. Alright, there is no hole in the wall. The scouts are waiting patiently for Nutty to open up another hole, but Nutty chooses not to. He's just going to build these additional houses instead. Scouts are looking for a way in. They're not going to find one. Nutty should ungarrison these spearmen so that they can do things. Alright, there they are. Jasuki not paying attention. And two scouts go down. 3 scouts go down. And Jasuki losing all of his scouts. But Jasuki managed to kill 2 villagers from that. Now, I think his scouts maybe could have had more value if they'd kind of bounced between these 2 locations. But that's okay. It's okay. I'm sure Jasuki is happy with the damage that his scouts were able to achieve. Meanwhile, Nutty is still here monitoring this. I don't think that anything has entered Nutty's vision. Yeah, Nutty doesn't see anything over here, although it looks like somebody was chopping that stump. So Nutty is actually not planning on doing anything in the feudal age, it looks like. Nutty, I mean, he went up to the feudal age on 22 population. He made a couple of spearmen, but Nutty's plan is to go castle age. Look at his resources. He's just a few food short of clicking up to the castle age. But Nutty's problem is he's not going to have the buildings. So he's probably going to go to click and then realize he doesn't have the buildings and then send some villagers out. So I think that Nutty should at the very least build a blacksmith. And indeed he is building a blacksmith. And then I don't know what the second building is. It'll either be a stable or a market. Stable would be better for military action, but a market could be better for his economy. We'll see what he does. So Jasuki is headed off to gold. He's investing a large amount into gold actually right now. So this tells me that Jasuki is maybe thinking about castle age now. He's got a decent ring of farms around his town center. I think he should cancel some of these villagers and click up. The scout attempting to get a villager pick off, but not succeeding. So with 5 villagers on gold, Jasuki will be able to click up in no time. Alright, so it is going to be a stable from Nutty. So Nutty's going down the stable route, and he's going to click up. How do I... Oh, there we go. Alright, so we got it. I don't exactly know how that happened or how we went this far in the cast without that option being enabled, but now we can see what everybody's researching. So that's a helpful spectator tool. So Nutty is on his way up to the castle age. I don't know how strong his economy is going to be. I forgot to mention that this version of the Thaw, I feel that the players are starting out pretty close together. So this could lend itself well to like a forward siege and monastery push. You know, like Nutty could build a second spearman, and then he could build a monastery here. And he could get a monk going, and like you could have a monk pop out and start converting, you know, villagers that are picking berries, berry pickers. So it really could be quite good for him. The other thing that he should consider is building a lumber camp, a second lumber camp. But instead he's just gonna... Alright, interesting. He's just going to go for the stone. So Nutty thinking a castle and Lightus. Lightus don't really make sense here, though. And here's why. Lightus make a lot of sense when you're fighting civilizations with hard-hitting, heavily armored units, like Teutons and like the Slavs. They make complete sense in that case. But against a civilization like the Huns, which are light and agile and don't really have heavily armored units that are maybe on the slower side, it doesn't really make much sense. So I'm not sure what and you could maybe make an argument for the economic benefit of Lightus, like the amount of attack and damage and health that they have relative to their gold cost. You could argue that long term that Lightus are the better choice over Knights, But I don't think that we're there yet. When Jasuke reaches the castle age and he's going to make a cavalry archer. He's making 2 cavalry archers, actually. Here we go again. So, Hunnic cavalry archers. The good news for Jasuke is that his gold is back here, but you know, if Nutty could pressure this, he could really put Jasuke in a tough place. Or maybe a mangonel. Pressure the wood. Maybe denying wood would be the more effective strategy for Nutty. Neither player has really gone out to these big wood lines yet. They're both taking their own player-assigned wood lines. And Nutty's only taking 1. And Jasuke is only taking 1 as well. So he hasn't even built another town center or anything on this other wood line. Although it looks like he has started to go out to it. These are probably just left over from villagers that were chopping stragglers. Ooh, not a good fight, Jasuke. Not a good fight. Yeah. Must not be paying attention. So second town center for Nutty. Oh, come on, guys. Guys, look at how close your opponent is to you. Look at how big this opening is. Just go kill him. Just go kill him. But nope. Second town center it is. More economy. More villagers. Everybody loves their villagers. Cookie Pirate says, I would not spend all the resources on Lytus. Well, nobody ever spends all their resources on Lytus. Just large amounts of resources. Alright, so this gold is... Sorry, this stone is completely collected. I believe that Nutty has... Yeah, he's got 675 stone, so he can build a castle. Because he's building a town center here. That is unfortunate, though, for Nutty, that these knights and cavalry archers are interfering. Okay, town center goes up. He garrisons to get away. But Jasuke managed to get a few free villagers off of that. And now where are these villagers going? Maybe Nutty is planning on dropping a castle here on Jasuke. A castle right here could deny Jasuke's main gold, and that would be pretty annoying to deal with. But probably it'll be a safe castle. Yeah, there's a castle right here to secure this wood, this gold, and this gold. Cookie says, I mean all as in that's required to invest in them. Oh, you wouldn't invest in Lytus on this map. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I would monk rush on this map. I would be like, oh, my opponent's right next to me. I'm just going to plow through his base with monks and mangonels. But I'm in the minority. So Nutty has a couple of knights back here to raid. Jasuke managing to sneak up this town center and sees Nutty coming. The knights do not have +2, they only have +1. So he can't really dive the town center and ignore its arrow fire. Arrow fire will hurt the knights if they're not fully armored out from this town center. And he's got more knights in Jasuke's base. So these knights could actually camp this gold. They may have been camping this gold before and we just didn't notice. Let's see if Nutty knows about that gold. He does, and he knows that there's a lumber camp there too. So it makes a lot of sense for Nutty to hang around this area. Wait for Jasuke to become invested in it. So Jasuke, meanwhile, is looking for opportunities to raid his opponent. The castle is up, and Nutty is making some Lytus. And, oof, this is so tempting right here. Look at this. Look at this. This is like asking for somebody to build a siege workshop right here. Siege workshop here, roll the mangonel up on the hill, attack the town center. It's not rocket science, but it would be very effective. Nutty with a decent raid on Jasuke's wood lines. Look at this. Jasuke's going to have to pull his military back to deal with Nutty. And Nutty's managed to get 3-4 villager kills in. Maybe that's 5 villager kills now. So villager population is 37 for Jasuke, 30 for Nutty. So I don't know what's been going on, if Nutty's just been unable to make villagers, or, you know, just he's had a lot of villager losses and we just haven't seen it. But Nutty really needs this damage, and he's getting it. He's killing so many villagers in this way. So Jasuke down to 33 villagers, and Nutty has 31 villagers. So if this were being played at the 2K level, these guys would have probably at least like 45 villagers or 50 villagers at this point easily. because those guys just know how to make villagers. But these guys have been slugging it out, so maybe the villager population is just not thriving on this map. But I think it's smart for Nutty to camp this. I think he should come back here frequently. Oof, he's adding another town center here. I do not like this town center. I would add this town center like right out here, somewhere on the wood. I think the wood is more important. I think this gold is partially covered by the tower. You know, I don't think it's that big of a deal to build a town center here. And even building it here, it's a little bit, you know, you like to build your town center so that the front of it is adjacent to the gold and not the back. It's more like this. So the villagers can stand under the town center and work more efficient that way. Drop off their resources at the town center. Just instantly teleports, and then it can be used anywhere in your country. So second stable from Jasuki, what's the plan? Why would Jasuki add another stable? He's not making any cavalry, or any melee cavalry, I should say. He's doing more stuff with the cavalry archers, and he's finally getting wheelbarrow. He has 19 on food. They're probably all farmers. Yeah, they're all farmers. He's not taking any of the fish because I think the fish are mostly gone. And he's building a market to help rebalance his economy. $49 villagers for Jasuki. No, 51. 49 for Nutty. So Nutty is not making the same mistake as last time. Look at this. He's got a Lithuanian monk, and he's going to come and he's going to pick up at least one relic. So he'll have at least one relic in. I don't see a monastery for Jasuki at all. So maybe Nutty will win the relic victory this time. He's got a couple of monks out. Now, the thing about Alchemy League that you have to remember is because of the standard victory condition, you never know when your monastery might be a critical point to defend. So that's why it's always good to try to wall it in or barricade it up, and I think that's what Nutty has done here. Either that or he just kind of like threw it down wherever. But you know, he's kind of got the market here blocking this side. He's got a town center here covering this side. He's got another town center here. He's got a house. He's got the pond. So he might be able to make something happen with that. Be able to defend the monastery properly. Alright, monastery under construction for Jasuki. So maybe Jasuki was looking at the minimap and he saw some relics disappear, and it reminded him. So it kind of is a weird thing that Huns get monasteries, but I guess it makes sense. Everybody needs a monastery. Everybody needs to be able to compete in relic victory. So Jasuki guarding this relic in the back of Nutty's base, basically. It's in Nutty's corner of the map. Could be hard for Jasuki to get that relic. But is Nutty going to try to get any more relics, or has he just got his 3 monks here? And that's it. He's got his 3 monks, and he's like, oh yeah, you know, I got a relic, and that's it. That's all I need. I just need to prevent you from getting a relic victory. That's all I want. Players are sort of peacefully booming up here, minding their own business. No attacks, despite them literally being right next to each other. I mean, look at this. Come on! Make something happen. Could you imagine if Nutty just had like a monk just standing here, just trying to get annoying conversions? Like, you could totally do that. Oh, wait, something's happening. Oh, it's just a lumber camp. Maybe these guys had a gentleman's agreement. They're like, you know what? In case we start right next to each other on this map, let's just not really attack each other at all in Castle Age. Let's just, you know, do our thing and boom up and, you know, have fun. And, you know, I'll make a few things in Feudal Age. You can make a few things in Feudal Age. and you know, but we're not going to like be aggressive and build in each other's zones, because that's rude. I say that though as Nutty is finally building a siege workshop. This is the siege workshop that we've always wanted, and he's making a mangonel. Okay, so Nutty read my mind. He thought in the future somebody might be watching this video and thinking, dang, you know, these towns are really close together. Wouldn't it be effective if I built a siege workshop right next to my opponent's town center on this forward gold and pressured him with a mangonel? I bet that Nutty thought that. I bet he was like, you know what? In case this gets casted, I don't want the caster saying, oh man, Nutty, he wasn't aggressive enough on this map. I want the caster to be satisfied with my choices in reading the map and playing to its aggressive nature. So here it is. So Nutty has done exactly that. He has built a siege workshop. He's made a mangonel. Now the mangonel is still in the siege workshop. I'm not sure why he hasn't ejected it yet. Maybe he is planning for a surprise factor. Maybe there's something else that needs to happen. Oh, look at this. So Jasuke deciding it would be a great idea to build a mill and some farms out here, a farming economy. But I believe that all of these villagers will die. He's just got to run. No, you can't fight a knight like that. You can't fight a knight like that. This knight is got, at the very minimum, the knight has 2 melee armor. It's probably got more than that because of armor upgrades. So you figure each of the villagers, it's got 4. So you figure each of his villagers deals 3 damage a pop. That means that villager only does 1 damage per hit to a knight, and a knight has 120 HP. So you need 120 hits from a villager to kill a knight. And yeah, that's just not working out. They just don't attack fast enough. Okay, here come the mangonels. Ooh, boom. Alright, Nutty blasting some of those villagers away. And now he's working on the town center. So, what's Jasuke going to do? Well, first of all, Jasuke's going to be Imperial Age. So, even though Nutty has more aggression at this time, Jasuke has a technology advantage. So they have the same number of villagers. I guess Nutty's just gonna fight this. He's got enough units here. He can clean up those halberders pretty effectively. But the most important thing is he has some monks here to heal his units. So as long as he doesn't lose too many units themselves, as long as it's just the health, he can recover it. But Jasuke's going to need a different answer to these mangonels that are pressuring his forward gold. And Nutty is in the score lead. So Nutty has 1 relic, and how many relics does Jasuke have? Let's take a look. Okay, so Nutty has destroyed Jasuke's town center on his main gold. Jasuke has 2 relics. Jasuke's Imperial Age. What is the plan for Jasuke? Now Jasuke, fortunately for Jasuke, has another gold over here. And he's building a castle to protect the gold. I think the castle would be better on this hill, because if it were here, it could be between the mangonels and the gold miners. But you know, right now these mangonels theoretically could roll right up to this hill and pummel these villagers without being in range of the castle. But they don't know what's going on here, I think, because Nutty hasn't explored it. Let's see what Nutty's knowledge is. So he knows that there's a gold here, but he doesn't know that his opponent is taking it. He probably just assumes his opponent can get as much gold. Oh, okay. Nutty has dropped a castle in the back of Jasuke's base, which is kind of funny. So Jasuke is attacking the castle with some villagers. Now, I think that Nutty needs to get murder holes, or he needs to have some answer to those villagers. He's got Lightus that he's making, and I guess the Lightus are going to help him defend the base of the castle from the villagers. But there's also a town center here, and the town center could fire upon the Lightus. So I think this is a much bigger investment than Nutty may realize. He needs to sell off some wood and make about 6 petards and eject them and destroy the town center, and then when he makes Lightus, they can attack the base of the castle. So Nutty continued to make cavalry. Jasuke wisely teched into halberdier. He sees that there are cavalry attacking him. He's not really going into cavalry archer anymore. But he is getting the hussar upgrade, and he's making some light cav. So it looks like Jasuke is planning on raiding his opponent. Raiding with hussar himself. I'm just checking it. I guess there is some stuff that Jasuke could raid. I mean, Nutty has a big rolling economy here. And this is kind of covered by this castle, but not really. So this is somewhat vulnerable. And I don't know exactly what this is. I guess Nutty is built along here. But he hasn't really walled the corner or anything like that. So Nutty, yeah, I'm looking at this and it looks like Nutty's economy is vulnerable to hussar raids. But instead Jasuke is going to use these hussars to clean out the mangonels. And he's got a couple of trebuchets as well. And they're going to destroy the siege workshop. Oh, the hussars would help him with the monks too. Alright, well, there go the monks. More hussars coming. I think Nutty needs to realize he could fight these hussars, but he's going to go and snipe the trebuchets instead. I would like to see Nutty go into a different type of unit. I mean, according to this, Nutty is literally making nothing. How can Nutty be making nothing? If Nutty made halbs this time, the way that he made halbs last time, I think he could actually win. Because let's take a look. So Lithuanian, if I remember correctly, oh no, they're also missing the final armor upgrade for Halberdier. So I guess that's a tie with the Huns, because the Huns are missing that as well. See, they're both missing it, and the Huns are missing the final archer armor upgrade. But even still, it would be an even match, and Nutty has a ton of resources, as always. He's got 77 villagers. Really, though, what Nutty could benefit from are those Lithuanian skirmishers with the tower shields. They would be very effective at killing Halberdier. That's kind of the unit comp that you're pushed into as Lithuanian. They want you to make the heavy cavalry and the skirmisher to kill the Halberdier. But Nutty isn't really doing any of that. He's getting ballistics, but where are the archery ranges? I mean, he made this castle here. I guess that was cute, but what's the plan, Nutty? He's got 2 ranges. Oh. Alright, so he's going to overpower the Halbs with Cavalier. No, that's not going to work. He needs more stables. Now, he is building them. He built an archery range. He just needs a ton more production buildings. But since losing this, his wood factory has been shut down. So he needs to come back here and build a couple of... Oops. He needs to come back here and build a couple of lumber camps. But Jasuke has cavalry archers in the back. So I think that Nutty is in big trouble. He didn't really have a plan. Alright, he's going to build a castle here. And presumably build some lumber camps on these wood lines. Jasuke going to snipe this trebuchet before it ever gets started. Another trebuchet rolling back or rolling forward for Jasuke. The castle is under siege. Nutty's going to focus, I think, on the trebuchets. He's going to try to focus the trebuchets down. The good news is that cavaliers are pretty hard to kill if all you have are hussar. Okay, Nutty sees that this isn't destroyed yet, so he destroys it. And he's fighting off hussar raid, but he's only making cavalier from 2 stable. And he only has 4 on gold and only 69 gold, so he doesn't really have the gold to do much. His villagers are here and here. You know, and all Nutty had to do was, like, shut down all of Jasuke, and vice versa. because the golds are very open and exposed on this map, I feel like you can get away with some pretty early aggression over a few key points. You could maybe build towers or something. We'll probably see Oladushek do that, especially if he plays against Ray. I'm really looking forward to that set. So Jasuke is doing very well. Let's take a look at Jasuke's economy. Nutty has 57 villagers. And what does Jasuke have? Jasuke has 48. So neither of these players really have many villagers. Okay, Nutty trying to build skirmishers. He's got 3 archery ranges working on them. They're queued up to have at least 10 skirmishers in each range. And he wants to build up the military to defeat Jasuke. So he's not going to attack yet. Jasuke, I was going to say, is doing a good job of fighting as the Huns without using any of their units or anything like that. He's been flexible. He's not just like, oh, I'm going to make cavalry archers, or I'm going to make cavaliers, or I'm going to make pure hussar, or I'm going to make this. He's got a bunch of Hunnic halberdier, which is a strange choice, but it's working for him. Nutty needs to send these villagers back to work, and presumably whatever's in this castle are more villagers. Jasuke going to build some outposts up here to keep an eye on this. This cavalier will see what's going on. Alright, Nutty is assembling his army. He's got the skirmishers now. He's got the cavaliers. What are the upgrades on these skirmishers? Well, not good. He's got the first attack and the first armor, and that's it. So, Nutty is going to have to get Bodkin, he's going to have to get Bracer, and he's going to have to get Chemistry. And then the skirmishers will be very good against the halberdiers. Oh, and tower shields would be very helpful for him as well. And I believe that the Lithuanians have a civ bonus where their trash units, skirmishers and halberdiers, move faster. Should probably check on that. Ooh, Hussar raid here on Nutty's woodline. That's going to be pretty annoying. So let's take a look at the Lithuanian bonuses. Oh, yeah, he should totally be getting more relics, too. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Nutty could get a lot more attack for his knights and Litus if he collects more relics. And yeah, spearman line and skirmishers move 10% faster. The tower shield, spearmen and skirmishers have +2 pierce armor. So Nutty feeling like he has to wall this off. He gets one house up, and he's being raided by these hussars. He's got his halb down here, protecting this town center, which is a strange choice, but at least it assures gold for Jasuke. The rolling farms in the back. Alright, Nutty with 2 relics. 12 plus 4 attack for the Cavalier. So they are maxed out in terms of attack. So what's Jasuke going to do? Alright, he is going to take this fight. So the Halberdier are going to fight the Litus and the Cavalier, and the Hussar are going to try and fight the Skirmisher. And Nutty is pursuing, trying to kill as many Hussars as he can to keep his Skirmishers alive. He should be focus firing those Skirmishers on the Halberdiers, but he's not. Instead, they're attacking the Hussar for the most part. And Jasuke's going to come out on top here. Halberdier coming in handy. I really feel like Jisuke could, you know, build a... Let's see what his stone is. Could Jisuke build a forward castle? Well, if he bought the stone, he could. Could you imagine a forward castle from Jisuke right here? Now, granted, it'd have to come with a few trebuchets to destroy this castle quickly. But it would secure 2 stone here from Nutty. I think it could end the game. Nutty is in on Jisuke's gold, though, or sorry, Jisuke's in on Nutty's gold, and Nutty has to deal with this. Jisuke spending his resources a little bit better. What do Nutty's resources look like? He's at 37 villagers. Jisuke is at 74 villagers. Oh boy, Nutty is running out of villagers. Yeah, he needs to reboom, but I think Nutty is just so weakened from the raids, he doesn't really have any safe place to build villagers or collect resources. And I think I'm going to turn up the speed again here. He does have this castle up here, and he's got some villagers safely taking wood, but really, Nutty needs to just make more villagers. Create extra villagers, as they say. Nutty sieging this area, getting Jisuke out. Oh, another big fight. And, yeah. Nutty just ends the game. So Jisuke has 79 villagers, and Nutty is at 39. So Nutty is very much behind. He's about to lose this castle. Jisuke just wearing him down. Let's take a look at the achievements. So Jisuke with 253 kills, 246 units lost, 17 to 13 building destruction. Jisuke collecting more food, Nutty collecting more wood and stone, Jisuke collecting more gold. Feudal Age, 8 minutes, 1936. Better castle for Nutty. Jisuke with really good map exploration. Yeah, they were good games. Jisuke with 3 relics captured, Nutty had 2. Jisuke with more relic gold and more villagers. And as you can see, he just really hit Nutty's army, and Nutty didn't really have the capacity to rebuild it because his economy was so small. So now we're going to return to the replays, and we're going to do Superhero versus Maikudai. But let me go and grab some more water real quick, guys. I will be right back. Let me go to the home screen as well. We're going to take a look at their draft. These guys actually did have a map draft, so I will talk about that in just a moment. So, guys, I'll be right back. Let me refill my water. Alright. Alright. I'm back. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. So, Superhero 55 versus Maikudai. Instead of being the round wild, this is round 1. So, they have to play the map of the round in their first game, and Superhero 55 picked Krarina, which is the map of the round. And then they take turns discarding maps until only one remains. And so you can see their discards here. Mike DeGuy discarding Rurgai, Shattered Plains, and Gugong. And Superhero 55 discarding Lagoon Forest, Shimmerpool, and the Thaw, leaving them with Confluence as the map to be played in the second game. Then, based on their knowledge of these maps, they draft Civilizations in the same style as the round Wild. This draft for Civilizations is used throughout Alchemy League. So, the admin banning randomly 5 civilizations, including the Huns, Saracens, Japanese, Franks, and Hindustanis. And then they each globally banned 2 civilizations. Superhero 55 banning Byzantines and Persians, and Mike DeGuy banning Dravidians and Georgians. And then their 4 picks with 1 snipe each. And so ultimately we're going to see Superhero 55 with either Spanish, Italians, and Portuguese, 2 out of those 3. And Mike DeGuy is going to either be Armenians, Mongols, or Berbers. So let's go ahead and begin watching their first game on Krarina. Okay. So Krarina, what is it? Well, I don't know exactly what it is. You kind of start with this circular wall around your town center and some yurts, some extra villagers for a faster start. I think it is based off of some region in China. It is a map created by Sing Sing. It's got these circular forests, which is fun, scattered across the map. And then, interestingly enough, it has these little fortresses that are kind of cracked and ruined. It's got some fortified wall here that you could attack. And it has towers that are capturable. You can get inside of the tower after capturing it and eject your villager. And that's how you can take some of these neutral golds. You don't have much gold around your starting town centers. Just these 2 800 gold piles. This one, although this stone is actually right next to this gold, so it probably should not be. Should try to separate it. 2 main player wood lines, it looks like. So, should be a pretty fun map. Players have said they've really thought that it was quite enjoyable. Sing Sing and I worked a little bit on the fortress dispersion, the shape, and the fairness and everything. I think we got something that's pretty good. So what can I tell you about these 2 players, actually? Well, I've already described in the beginning of the video that these guys are Superhero 55 is the favored player. He's between 14 and 1500, so he's the higher seed. And Mike DeGuy was seeded between 1200 and 1300, although he has a low number of 1v1s, so it's hard to exactly state where he is, and for that reason, he is playing... He is playing this sprint ineligible for prize money. So we're going to see where he's at from testing. So what can you do on this map? Well, maybe you could go archers. I don't know. Scouts, I feel like scouts could be kind of nerfed, and here's why. Because scouts cannot get inside of these towers to attack. Now these towers are Gaia towers, and so they can't defend your villagers. Your villagers cannot shoot arrows out of them, but they can still get inside of them to hide. And they can pass through them. And if your opponent goes scouts, and you have villagers inside of these walls, the scouts can't get you. Because even if your opponent manages to capture one of these towers, they cannot move their scouts through the tower into where you are. There's cracked terrain inside of these old abandoned fortresses. So you could build in here your own tower or something like that, but it's easier to destroy. Second mill coming down for Superhero 55. Let's talk about the civilizations, actually. I think that's probably a more important consideration. So Mike DeGuy is playing as the red Mongols, and Superhero 55 is playing as the blue Spanish. So I think that both of these civilizations have solid cavalry options. I'm not sure who will come out on top. This particular version of Carina allows you to obtain relics by destroying the wonders. Is it worth it? Well, I mean, these wonders have a lot of health, but if you've got units that don't really have anything to do, it is possible. You could destroy them and get a little bit of extra gold that way. There are currently in this version other relics scattered across the map that these nomads have picked up. You can see that there's a nomad cavalry archer and some villagers and a merchant here and a donkey. So you could take the relics from them as well. Superhero going to grab his other boar. So we see that Mike DeGuy is on gold. He's got 2 on gold. Let's take a look at his... And he's on his way up to the feudal age. But I don't see a barracks. So I don't know if this is going to be man-at-arms, but I don't think so. I have the feeling that players will fast castle based on distance to the opponent's town center. I don't really know that anything is practical besides fast castle on this map, but it was evaluated. So, and it was evaluated to be strategically varied. So, we'll see what happens, what the players end up doing. Superhero is going to come out and take this gold, I think. No. He has a sneak lumber camp over here, which I like. Oh, wait. Nope. Never mind. I mean, he has this here. I'm not really sure what this is. Why is Superhero taking wood over here? Of all the places that you could take wood, why would you take wood here? Maybe Superhero is going to wall this whole place in. You know, he's going to take advantage of these existing walls as obstacles. He's going to wall this in here. That's dangerous, though, because if your opponent attacks this wall and breaks through, and then attacks the other wall and breaks through, then you're not going to get any notification for that. But it is a lot of health, so I feel like you don't really need notification. I like the choice of fortified palisades and the round base instead of square. Well, I'm glad you appreciate that, Cookie Pirate. It is a nice aesthetic here. We got some yurts as well. I think this is a region of China that's close to Mongolia, perhaps. I know it was inspired by some place in China. Alright, so market and blacksmith for Mike DeGuy. And he's heavily on stone, so he's going to go fast castle into unique unit. And I believe that Superhero is doing the same thing. So Superhero with a market. And guys, I don't get it. I do not understand Superhero's presence on this particular wood line. But the funny part is Mike Godai is going to find it anyway. So Mike Godai comes over here and he finds this Superhero's sneak lumber camp anyway. So much for that, Superhero. Yeah, that's really funny. So, and he just found it randomly too. I mean, I guess he sees other dots down here. I guess he's going to see a blue dot. It's going to... And it's not so random, I guess, because this scout has extra vision, given that it's a Mongolian scout. Mongol scouts have additional vision. He can come right in here if he wanted to. It's like he's not going to. Yeah, they're both on their way up to the castle age. 90% for Mike DeGuy. Makes sense. I mean, he built a mill back here. He took some extra hunted meat. Mongols collect meat faster. Now he's castle age. And he has the stone to build a castle. And he's gonna build it right here. And he's gonna expand out and build a town center as well. So he's not going to play super aggressive, but he is going to He's going to kind of use this castle to claim area of the map for map control purposes. Let's take a look at what Superhero does. He's Castle Age. He doesn't quite have the resources to build a castle, but he will have them soon. And he'll be able to build that castle faster because he's Spanish. I believe that Superhero sold some of his stone in order to click up. Neither player doing any feudal aggression of any kind. I'd love to see Superhero drop this castle on his opponent. Could you imagine a castle right here? That would just be wild. But it's Alchemy League. They're playing for money. Or at least Superhero's playing for money. So they tend to be more conservative in their castle placement. Superhero, no, he has not built. What is this? Oh, Superhero. He doesn't know. Superhero doesn't know that you can just garrison in these towers. Oh boy. Superhero, you're supposed to garrison in the tower, but he's building a siege workshop so that he can destroy the walls and get in that way. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Poor Superhero. Alright, and you know what? I bet that Mike built this castle here for the same reason. I bet Mike built this castle so that it would attack the wall, so that he could get in and take the gold better. Neither player realizing that you can just garrison in the tower to get in. So, university from Mike. That can mean only one thing. Ballistics. Well, actually, it can mean two things. It can mean that he's going to go up to the Imperial Age, or that he wants fast ballistics. And he's got a Mangudai running around here. I thought I saw a Mangudai earlier. Superhero going to build the castle here. And he is building a ram. And he's going to build the ram to help him get through the fortress. Yeah, you got to embrace the walls here, you guys. You don't try to fight it. Play it. Alright, the ram is working on the walls. See, because once he destroys these walls, he can't use them for himself. Yeah, the towers are almost all claimed. I don't see any Mangudai from Mike. Oh, here they are. Alright, we saw that he had one and that it was running around, but he hadn't built it yet. Oh, Superhero's going to pick off this monk. That's a good win for him. And he's going to see the Mangudai. So, Superhero's going to know that Mike Dagai is up to no good with Mangudai. Oh, that's so confusing. That's such a tongue twister. I wonder if Mike Dagai is so named because he likes Mangudai. You know, like he adapted his name to reflect his favorite unique unit. So Superhero knows that there are Mangudai at large here. And I really think that he should get out of here. He's going to lose 3 villagers just like that. From not following these Mangudai, not being curious where they were going or why his opponent had them. Continuing to take the stone. Maybe he forgot that the stone was there. Alright, here are the Mangudai. And they're going to come around and they're going to raid Superhero back here. This is not good at all. Superhero, he's getting into the tower for safety. And he's got another tower he could get in. But the villagers are going to go down instead. The rest of the villagers made it to safety. But I would say Mike and I has probably gotten like 6 villager kills right now. These villagers are ejected because there are more Mangudai at the base of the tower. And yeah, this is a disaster for a superhero. He's going to get into the other tower. And now Mike Kudai is going to go conquer this tower as well. Yeah, he captures that tower. And superhero not really understanding the towers very well. Losing all of his gold miners. And some wood choppers and all of his stone cutters too. Superhero's down to 33 villagers. Mike the guy is up at 48. But this is the reason why the map is a little bit more aggressive, because you can't rely on these towers to keep your villagers safe. There's a ram here, probably because Mike G'day is planning on ramming into this pocket as well. Conks run right by. Now Mike G'day is going to see those conks, possibly. Conquistadors are very good at picking off villagers, so Superhero is still in this. You know, he could totally get revenge, totally kill just as many villagers if Mike G'day is not careful. But Mike G'day is careful. Mike G'day not making the same blunder with the towers that Superhero did. So Mike G'day is going to lose some villagers, but he's not going to lose them all. Superhero going to kill 2 more villagers, actually. So the villager count is 55 for Mike G'day and 40 for Superhero. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Superhero could do a lot of damage. No, okay. Mike G'day is going to realize that mortal threat and withdraw and cancel the town center, which is smart. Yeah, you don't want to try to build that town center underneath all of these conquistadors. And 4 conquistadors are all you need to one-shot a villager. I think you probably actually need less than that. Mike's got to pull an anti-AI trick here and just delete his walls. Some of the walls are getting deleted. I think the struggle is that he doesn't want to delete all of the walls, just the ones he doesn't need. These conquistadors, Superhero takes his eye off the ball, and conquistadors go down to Mangadai. So Superhero has lost his ability to pressure this. If Superhero had kept these alive and come over here, he could have gotten a lot more damage. And he's built a town center here on this gold, because he can trust that the town center won't be capturable by his opponent. He's doing the same over here. Fortified walls are... He's got rams working on them to clear them out. So 61 to 53 villagers, with Mike G'day also taking some losses, but still being 8 villagers ahead. How many relics does he have? He's picked up 2 relics. Now, on this version of Crorina, the relic situation is a little bit screwy. You can see that Mike G'day is working on this wonder. And when that wonder is destroyed, it will spawn a relic. And then if he captures that, because there were 3 relics on the map at the start of the game, he will start the relic countdown, even though there are more relics for Superhero to collect. Uh-oh. Superhero, pay attention. Superhero, no! Okay, he gets in the town center and he fires back. Just lost a couple more villagers that way. So it's 74 villagers for Mike G'day to 59 villagers for Superhero. Building an outpost here. Keep an eye on things. Yeah, there's the relic spawn as promised. These raids. These raids. Oh, ouch. Micadai is only now getting horse collar. That's unfortunate. 31 minutes into the game. Oh well, at least he's got a villager advantage if you're Micadai. I predict what will happen is, once people realize how these towers work, you'll see investments into building stone walls at the base of the towers. Well, maybe not, because I think people can still hop over the stone walls, but then they can't get out. So maybe you'll see people start to invest in building stone walls to keep enemies from garrisoning in this tower, even if they do capture it. Because foot archers could garrison in it and then ungarrison on the other side and pass through the walls. Alright, this is an aggressive play from Micadai. It's going to drop a castle on one of Superhero's gold mines. It's got some Mangudai here to protect it. He's got some other Mangudai here to give him a heads up when Superhero reacts. Superhero's castle is down here. Superhero actually... Alright, he's building another town center on this stone. But I believe that Superhero is fundamentally going to have to forfeit this gold. Not paying attention, and Micadai is coming right in. Garrisons the town center. Probably going to see the castle. And I don't think he's going to send his villagers back to work. I think he's going to ungarrison. Oh, nope. Send him back to work. Oof. Well, the ram is tanking the arrow fire. That's helpful. Superhero is imping. But Micadai has a relic victory countdown. We predicted that this would happen. He's coming out here to build a town center on this stone and in this gold region. Alright, Micadai is also imping. Alright, Superhero pulling back. He kind of realizes that this castle is here now. And what's the plan? Oh no. No, 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 no. No, Superhero. Oh no. They must have been tasked to build something on the other side of the map and decided that this was the best way to get there. Right through the enemy army. Classic Age of Empires villager pathing. Alright, Superhero sending some builders out this way. He's going to try to claim this corner of the map. So Superhero is nearly Imperial Age. What's he going to do with it? I don't really see any unit investment from him, so that's implying that it's going to be a unique unit in the Imperial Age. He's building a monastery now. Luckily for him, he had some stone walls here to keep his opponent away. Stone walls and a castle, so this university will go up. He's in the Imperial Age now, and he's getting the second cavalry armor upgrade, and he's building a barracks. I think that cavalry armor is for the conquistadors, though. Actually, how could it be? Because he would need to have the first one, and it would need to affect the conquistador, so it's probably for Cavalier. Cavalier or Hussar or something. Micadai is getting Bracer, he's getting Bloodlines, he's getting Husbandry, he's getting Thumbring, and he's getting Chemistry. So he's really investing in the Mangudai. Superhero can't fight this because these villagers are in range of the castle. Mike Godai is knocking on the door. Wants to come in here. Superhero has to get out of here. He needs to delete some walls. He needs to evacuate these villagers. He's evacuating these villagers. Most of his holdings are in this corner of the map. He's getting the Paladin upgrade. Oh boy. Superhero. Superhero. Oh boy. Alright, well, I don't think Superhero's going to have the time to do anything with Paladins, but we'll see. I mean, it is the answer here. It's what he needs. It's what he needs to get back into the game. If he can get to Paladin, he can actually do something about these Mangadai. Paladin are just so powerful. They have lots of health. They have lots of pierce armor. They are like the one unit that he has that can handle these Mangadai. I mean, Cavalier could be okay if they were in sufficient number, but Paladin would be really what would put him over the top. The question is, can he get there? And it takes a long time to get the Paladin technology in. And I don't know where he's at with armor. This Conquistador isn't going to tell us. And Mike Dudai is just, I don't know, he's not really... He destroyed Superhero's initial base. He's got the capped rams. And he is starting to think about this castle here. And he has Mangadai. Superhero's built a second castle to buy himself some time. There are some light cav for raiding. And these light cav aren't really going to do much except to tell Mike Godai what Superhero is up to. So he's going to scout the stable, and he's going to spot the Cavaliers, and he's going to spot the Paladin. But Superhero only has 9 on gold. So I don't think he's going to be able to make very many Paladins. He's not sending these in yet because he doesn't want his opponent to know that he has Paladin, which I think is actually smart. He figures, I got a Conquistador here, that's fine. He's building a market so that he can sell resources and make more Paladins. Mike Godai has gotten a couple villagers here, and he's going to scout. He's going to spot the Paladins eventually. Superhero building another town center. Somehow Superhero has 96 villagers throughout all of this, even if he's in his own corner of the map. Let's see what Mike Godai sees. Yeah, so he sees archery ranges. I'm wondering if Superhero built these archery ranges so that Mike Godai would see the archery ranges and think that it was something different. Think that it was like skirmishers or something. I bet that's what Superhero did. Because note that Superhero isn't trying to destroy this very hard. He could be sending his ram down here, and he's not, as far as I know, making anything from the skirmish from the archery ranges. You know, he's just letting his opponent see all this. But this is a disaster. He should totally get out of here. These Mangadai could kill so many villagers. I think now is the time for Superhero to attack, but he's getting supremacy, so that his villagers have exceptional combat skills, or exceptional combat skills. And here comes Superhero's charge. He doesn't have all of the attack upgrades, but he's got all of the armor upgrades. And these paladins will soak the damage from the Mangadai. Superhero with 77 villagers. Now, if Superhero had built some gates or walls here to prevent Mike Godai from... it's too late. It's too late. He's just going to micro it. This unit is just so annoying, those Mangadai. So Superhero has revealed his paladins. And what is Mike Godai going to do about it? He's going to make camels. I believe that Mongols... Do they get heavy camel? I don't recall. I think they do. Yeah, they do. We're getting heavy camel now. Okay, he is going to make skirmishers ultimately from these ranges. So maybe it wasn't a mind games thing. Maybe it was a genuine need for ranges. Another castle going up to defend his economy from raids. But Superhero calling the GG. He just realizes he's too whittled down. Mike and I taking the first game with Mongols. Yeah, that got kind of out of control when Superhero's boom was disrupted. I think Superhero didn't quite realize what the towers were all about. Mike and I with a kill-to-death ratio of 2-to-1. Way more buildings destroyed as well. More resources collected. Superhero was imp first, but only slightly. Mike and I with 4 relics captured. Let's go back to the map, actually. I don't even know about the relic victory. What happened with that? But let's go and watch game 2. Confluence. So, whereas Krarina was made by Sing Sing, Confluence was made by Jasuni. So you got a thick forest. It's almost got like a black forest feel to it. Resources scattered throughout. But the players start close together. And with like some crossings between the players. Some shallows, some random shallows, if you will. And the river, and then of course the confluence of the river. So there's a lot of fish. Some people feel that the fish are really powerful on the map. Other people feel like, hey, you know, your opponent's right next to you. Do something like archers or man-at-arms towers or something like that. And Mike and I coming over here for a lame. He manages to find one of Superhero's sheep and steals them. And then there's a boar here too. Oh, don't tell me he's thinking about the boar. So he is Armenians, and they start. I don't know that they start with a mule cart, but they get mule carts instead of lumber camps. He's sending a villager forward. What is this? Oh, I bet this is a boar laming villager. So he was thinking about laming the boar with the scout, but I think he's going to do it with the villager instead. Let's see what Mike and I's point of view. He saw the boar over here. I mean, we saw him see the boar over here. But there is no boar. So Superhero, he sees Superhero. I don't know if Superhero saw him. He's kind of looking around for the boar. Doesn't see it. Maybe he's going to go this way to try to find the boar. Oh, there it is. Alright, so he's going to take it. Now, does Superhero spot the boar? Leaving. I don't know where Superhero's scout is, actually. Oh, he accidentally blocks his own villager. The boar is de-aggroed temporarily with the house trick. And he's going to take Superhero's boar. Superhero not realizing that Mike stole his boar. Superhero is down a boar. I don't know how big of a deal being down a boar is when there's this much food available through fish, but it definitely hurts in my opinion. Basically means that Superhero has to go fast castle. So now Mike is going to find this sheep. Nope, he's not. Never mind, I lied. He's not going to find the sheep, and he's not going to steal it. Alright, Superhero is Italians. Italians versus Armenians. What do? Well, Armenians get those composite bowmen that have the ability to ignore armor. And Italians get the Genoese crossbowmen, which deal bonus damage to cavalry. So they're both kind of archer civilizations with a twist. Armenians get some water bonuses, I think. Let's see here. Their galley line and dromons fire an additional projectile. And then they get Sicilian Fleet. Demolition ships 20% blast radius. So they get some bonuses for water, but so do the Italians. The Italians have cheaper advancement times, and their dock technologies cost less. So, you know, they're both competent civilizations for this map. You know, the tight spaces of these forests lend themselves well to archers, the close proximity, but also the river itself lending itself well to naval options. It'd be interesting to see who comes over here and tries to colonize this. Now Mike is going to get this last boar. So he had 3 boars and Superhero had 1. Superhero fishing Mike's fish first. Let's see. Mike is not close to clicking up yet. Superhero, where is he at? Superhero is nowhere near clicking up. So Mike is actually closer than Superhero is to clicking up to the feudal age, which makes sense because he has more boar to work with. We'll keep an eye on that because I think this is going to drive the plot of the game, if you will. And Mike is walling off this beach. He does not want Superhero attacking him. I guess he just wants to take the food and run. Feudal age on its way for Mike. We knew that this would happen. Let's check out Superhero. He needs a little bit more food to click up to the next stage. He's lacking on food. Got lamed. Mike took one of his sheep, at least, and one of his boars. And Superhero clicking up now at 31 pop, 25 of which is villagers. Mike adding another dock, so he's going to fight water. He's going to wall this off. He's going to fight water. So, Superhero, maybe he could build a castle. Like, he could go fast castle, take this stone, drop a castle here, and then cross. But I suspect that it'll come down to a lot of water battle. Mike is nearly feudal age. He hits the feudal age just now. And he's already making a galley. This mule cart is in a very convenient and intelligent location. So this confluence map made by Jasuni. It's actually kind of similar. I regard it as an upgrade to his Yukon River Gold Rush map that we used in Alchemy League Season 4, the Alaska themed. But in this case, instead of the players starting very far away, they start very close to each other, and there's kind of this neutral area out here that the players have to fight over, which I think makes the map more interesting than Yukon River Gold Rush. So with Mike and I getting feudal age, Superhero's fish are not safe, so Superhero has built another dock over here, and he's sending his fish off to take his fishing ships off to take some distant fish. And Mike will probably find that later. Oh man, this sucks for Superhero. This dock almost went up. Gonna basically tap that. There's the dock. Alright, what's Superhero making? Superhero's making fires. Italian fire ships. He's got to pull the fire ship back so that he can repair it. Got another fire ship here. Got another fire ship here. In low numbers, fire ships are superior to galleys. Alright, who's going to be clicking up to Castle Age? Let's see. Looks like they're both pretty heavily invested in Feudal Age. And not close to clicking up. Although Superhero is building a blacksmith, so does that mean he's going to transition into galleys himself? His berries are close to the edge of the water. If he's not careful, he can lose some villagers to these Armenian galleys, which are firing extra arrows when villager goes down. Firing the extra arrow might not seem like a big deal because it only does 1 damage, I believe, but it makes them more effective against high pierce armor targets like fire ships. And we can see that these Armenian galleys are pretty effective at low numbers, but Superhero clicking up to the Castle Age. So Superhero's only got to put up with this for a little while longer. I'm not exactly sure what Superhero is going to do with Castle Age. Maybe he'll just boom. We'll have to see. I feel like the players start too close together for a boom, but then again, in that second game of Jasuki versus Nutty, they boomed. Kind of. Superhero sneaking out to the neutral area. It's 2 villagers. Maikadai did not see them. Maikadai is going to find the fishing ships and eliminate those. Mike is actually already out here building some houses. It looks like Superhero has a... Okay, he just tasked them to build that palisade. What is this? Superhero using palisades to guide the pathing of his villagers. So Mike knows that Superhero is out here. Does Superhero know that Mike is out here? He does. He spots the houses. So both players have villagers over here in the neutral area. Mike is not close to clicking up to the Castle Age, but Superhero is about to be Castle Age. So Mike with 38 villagers to Superhero's 34, according to our count. What's Superhero's plan? I bet it's just to build a town center. I don't know where he's going. What are you waiting for, Superhero? He's going to path across this crossing in the river. Oh, I see. Superhero wants to build a sneak base. He's got this scout waiting right here. I don't think Mike spotted him. Maybe he did. Okay, this villager is coming out to deal with this scout cavalry. Can Superhero react in time? Probably not. Nope. So Superhero is gonna... And then Mike building another outpost back here just because he's kind of concerned about being attacked from behind by Superhero. And Superhero has a large number of fire galleys. Since he's Castle Age, he can afford the technology. He's got Mike trapped. He's going to be able to clear out these galleys. I don't understand this at all. What is going on? Now Mike can see these 2 villagers. He's got an outpost here. He's got his own villager following. Superhero going to build a palisade wall here. I'm not sure why. Probably just to help with the pathing. Or maybe to inhibit Mike's ability to build back here. Just going to evacuate this villager. But Mike has... I don't know. Just going anywhere he wants. Just running. I bet he's going to come up this way, seek the safety of his ships. Now, Superhero has built a house here. And I guess he's fighting Mike's villager. Not exactly sure what happened there. Maybe he built the house to block Mike. So Superhero has a villager back here with a house. And from these palisades, he's going to see that Mike is pursuing him. He's going to build another palisade. It's to illuminate these passageways in the forest behind Mike's base. Superhero has liberated the water, and now what does Mike do? He's made an archer to send after Superhero. The archer knows exactly where this villager is because of the outposts. Yeah, this is... I don't really get it. I don't understand this, but maybe there was a good reason for it. So Mike is going to try to come back on water, but he's building some docks here. Superhero doesn't know about those docks as far as I know. Yeah, he doesn't know about them. They're on this branch. You know, the more branches there are for the river, the easier it is to potentially sneak something up. Mike has built a bunch of outposts along this island. He really wants to know where Superhero is, and if Superhero is going to come back, or if Superhero is going to come over here, I guess he wants to know. Superhero would cross over here somewhere. He's going to build a dock here too. Superhero finds these docks. Mike is building a demolition raft, and he's getting the upgrade for the rafts. So he is going to go demolition ships. Which makes sense, because demolition ships are a decent counter to fire ships. Superhero is at 3 town centers. Mike is at 1. Superhero transitioning into galleys now. To help him deal with the demolition rafts. So he's got a galley, he's got some fire ships. And these docks are probably not going to last very long. Superhero has made a monk and he's coming out for this relic. Mike is probably thinking of the same thing. Now he just built this fortified church, which starts with a relic in it by default. I don't know if that counts toward the relic victory. It's a standard victory condition, but I think it's hard-coded not to. In other words, I think that that relic increases the number of relics on the map and changes the condition for the relic victory. It's very confusing, actually. I don't know for sure. Mike's going to build this town center out here. Superhero's cleaned this out. And now he's going to come up here and clean this off. He's got a monk with a relic, so he knows that there's a dock here. And so that's a target. Oh, there's a warrior priest. Yeah, alright. 11 attack, 1/1 armor. No match for these ships. But he is a match for this relic, and he's going to snag this relic instead. How many relics does Superhero have? He's got 1 right now. He's bringing another one in. And then there's 1 relic here and 1 relic here. So that's 4 relics plus whatever Mike has in the monastery, which is 2, I believe. So 6 relics total. Makes sense. 5 plus 1. 1 from the Armenians. Yeah. So what happens now? Well, I think Superhero patrols the water. It takes up a large portion of the map. It divides the map into 3. He patrols the water to keep an eye on his opponent. And he just booms and he goes up to Imperial Age. And then maybe he just goes mass cannon galleons. He really doesn't have to go land unit here. You potentially could. But I think that ship has sailed, if you will. I think the time for going land unit has passed. And now it's about a water battle. With somebody finding an opening to cross over and do lots of damage. I mean, You know what would be a lot of fun is if Superhero went Imperial Age right now and went into Condotieros. He's at 84 villagers. He's building a university, so this tells me that Superhero is thinking about going up pretty soon. Or he could go, like, gunpowder. That would be pretty entertaining. Remember, guys, the Imperial Age is cheaper for Italians, which is Superhero's civilization. So he doesn't need 1,000 food, but he's probably going to wait to click until he gets to 1,000 anyway. Yeah, and see, there's like 200 left over. So he's on his way up to the Imperial Age. He's got scattered galleys here, keeping an eye on Mike Goodeye. Looks like Mike has gotten back on water over here. So what's Mike's plan? He's got a castle. Note that he did not build that castle along the coastline, which he's actually gonna be happy that he made that decision, because Superhero is gonna be Imperial Age soon, and that means cannon galleons working on your castle. But the advantage about building a castle like this along the coastline is it kind of protects your docks. So it allows you to get back on water even if you're behind. So Mike is just in Castle Age now. It doesn't look like he's teching into anything. Let's see what his resources are like. He's probably thinking about clicking soon. His opponent is more than halfway up. Alright, he's going into Composite Bowman. I'm not really sure why. Maybe he feels like Composite Bowman would be effective against ships, given that they have large amounts of Pierce Armor. You know, 6 Pierce Armor for these war galleys. And Composite Bowman could ignore that. Or maybe there's some other reason. The good news for Mike is that he is on this neutral island here, so he's got plenty of, relatively speaking, he's got plenty of space. And it looks like he's going to make his return on water here. Superhero doesn't know about it yet. He's got his waypoint set so that his new ships are headed over this way. He probably suspects that Mike would try to return over here because this is where he is. But Mike's actually going to sneakily do so over here. Superhero's Imperial Age, what's he doing with it? Well, he's already gotten Fast Fire Ship, which is an amazing technology. There's a lot of value added, and he's castle dropping his opponent. And he's building a siege workshop and an archery range. So Mike is building a university of his own. I think he just needs to buy the food and click up. I think there's no reason to delay. He's at 73 villagers. I don't know why Mike has stopped building villagers. I mean, I know he wants to click up, but he's been not building villagers for a while. Maybe to accelerate his ability to click up. Alright, well this town center is a little bit greedy. Mike's going to come in here and try to deny it. Manages to get a number of villager kills. Loses one KP crossbowman, or composite bowman. Mike is on his way up to the Imperial Age. Now, does Superhero know about this castle? Let's see if Superhero does. No, he does not, actually. So if Superhero knew about this castle, he would be rolling this trebuchet forward and sieging it right now. But he doesn't, which is good for Mike. It allows Mike to continue to build out of this castle without having to defend it against a more advanced opponent. So Superhero is going into Arbalister. I don't really know that composite bowman is a good answer for arbalists, because they ignore armor, but arbalists didn't have much armor to begin with anyway, and they have superior statistics and are cheaper, relatively speaking, for their damage output. So composites are more specialized. There's a cannon here that Mike doesn't want to tangle with. A couple of them, actually. And now I think Superhero is going to find the castle. Yep, there it is. So he sees it. My opponent is a castle. And probably Superhero's cannons will roll forward with the trebuchet, and they'll come right about here, and they'll start sieging the castle. But first he's going to drop a castle of his own. Try to clear Mike out of this area. I guess he has a house back here, so he can kind of see what Mike is doing. And yeah, here forward rolls the trebuchet. And Mike is in trouble on his starting lands. Superhero's also found this. Mike has demolition ships, and he's getting heavy demolition ship. And he's looking to make a comeback here on water, but he's not quite ready yet. And Superhero's already landed him. Yeah, Composite's trying to take a fight here, but these arbalists have better range, they have better attack. I believe they even have... No, they have the same health, but still they're vastly superior. You know, if Mike isn't careful, he could lose 30 villagers here easily. Let's take a look at his villager count right now. He's got 57 villagers. Mike needs to repair this castle. I think he's sending some... Yeah, he's sending some villagers now for that. Mike calls the GG. He's just overwhelmed. Superhero has too much. It's clearing Mike out of his starting location. Let's take a look at the statistics. Superhero with 107 kills, 81 deaths, raised 40 buildings and lost none, despite being lamed. Converted 1 unit, apparently. So, more food, wood, stone, and gold collected for Superhero. Superhero with a better castle and Imperial Age times. I think this is really what made the game for Superhero. Sure, Mike was able to get Feudal Age faster, and he won water in Feudal Age and killed Superhero's fishing ships, but it didn't matter at that point. Superhero had other sources of food income and other advantages of being Castle Age first. 3 castles for Superhero, 2 for Mike and I, 2 relics for Superhero, 3 relics for Mike and I. Villager high of 130 for Superhero, more relic gold for Mike and I. So, there you have it, guys, our first cast from Alchemy League Season 6. I hope that you enjoyed. I'm really grateful for those that tuned in. And I'm sure that we have a lot more content coming. In fact, I know that we have a lot more content coming as more sets in the league are played. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.